Blow up the Hawks. Blow it up. All right, broadcast is on, so whenever y'all ready.
Am I hosting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Banana Stand podcast. Here with Mike Liu, Kenny Chang, producer Ray, and today we'll talk about the NBA playoffs. And since it's been a while since we last broadcasted, we're going to go around the table, go around the room, and we're each going to talk about one of the playoff highlights that is worth mentioning and is worth talking about. And to switch things up, we'll start with our producer, Mr. Ray. Ray, any significant moment that you want to talk about in the playoffs so far?
So I think the most shocking result was James Harden Game 6, MVP finalist. James Harden, who lost to a Kawhi-less San Antonio Spurs, where he shot 2 for 11, 10 points, 7 assists, and they got blown out. They lost by 40. Thoughts, guys?
We went out to party after. I think that's what really matters. That's what everyone was focusing on Reddit. All the pictures of him at the club drinking.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Harden, that Game 6 doesn't really surprise me. I think, if you look at his game, whenever he doesn't get whistles, it's ugly. Bad efficiency, lots of turnovers. He didn't get a lot of whistles that game, so to me, that isn't really all that surprising. I think if you look at this playoffs overall, you get Golden State sweeping their way to the finals, Cavaliers only losing one game to the Celtics. So I give props to the Celtics for taking a game off the Cavs and saving us from a complete sweep all the way en route to the finals.
Yeah, back to Harden. What that Game 6 where he didn't even shoot until like the second quarter or something, and people were, what the hell was wrong with him? That was pathetic. That was fucking disgraceful. If you're the best player, if you consider yourself one of the best players in the world, and you can't have a no-show in the playoffs, and with Kawhi being out, you should have been extra motivated to come out and be aggressive, and he was just the opposite. And it reminded me of when he kind of no-showed in Game 6 against the Clippers, and with him on the bench, the team came back, made that huge comeback with Josh Smith and Corey Brewer leading the way. And if you're the best player in the world, you have to step up in those moments. And I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He just doesn't have the heart or something, or that instinct, that killer instinct. And it's just disappointing. And I feel like the Rockets Warriors series could have been, I don't know, it could have been more fun, I think, and we could have had some 140 to 135 games, and it just sucked to see him go out like that, and it kind of gives their great season a bitter ending, and it's just really disappointing.
I agree. You always hear people talk about how this guy wanted it more, or this team wanted it more, and that's why they won. Personally, I hate that because it's like it discounts players, their skill or their talent, because the reality is sometimes some people just don't care, but they're so talented that they win. But that was a perfect example where that was true. Harden didn't want shit. It seemed like he didn't try. And it's okay if you miss shots, if you try and you do poorly, but it just seemed like he didn't care at all in that game. And it was really depressing to watch a team's season to end that way. It's
crazy, right? You almost want James Harden to go 0 for 20 than to not shoot a field goal until the second quarter.
Yeah, definitely. I want him to go down firing and just missing and just showing something out there. and he was just such a piece of shit out and doing nothing. And you're home too. They were home for Game 6, and Kawhi's out. This is where you have to fucking put the nail in the coffin and force a Game 7.
Right, like the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I think, is DeRozan. When they lost in the playoffs, like he kept trying. They were getting crushed, but he didn't give up. They were double teaming him on multiple plays, and he just kept shooting anyway. And he had a terrible shooting percentage, but at least he was putting up points. Like he was making an effort. And we didn't get that from Harden. And that's an MVP caliber candidate that just didn't put up anything.
Harden, his Game 6 really reminded me of LeBron back in 2010 when they were playing the Mavs, and the Mavs just threw a whole bunch of looks at them. And, LeBron got a lot of criticism then for being very passive. And pretty famously, Mark Cuban went on the show and he showed Skip Bayless up because he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Tell me one thing that we did. Skip looked really dumb there, but I actually agree with his overall point, even if Skip couldn't articulate it, quite so well. The thing with sports is a lot of it is strategy and, planning, and, it's people draw analogies to chess, but end of the day, it's a talent game, right? Same thing with football. And especially in contact sports, if you're James Harden, you are good enough that you can take a whole bunch of mid-range jumpers or just, crush the paint, slash relentlessly. And it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be maybe as efficient as you would like, but end of the day, you can't tell me that James Harden can only draw 6 free throws and 2 shots inside the perimeter when, he's partly being guarded by Danny Green, but also partly with, DeJounte Murray. He's just at a different level. He should elevate his game. And, I think that's the expectation people place on superstars.
Yeah, it's really hard to defend James Harden's performance in Game 6. I don't even if he was hurt, he should have just sat then if he was going to put up that shit show. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll going around the table. Mike, any playoff highlight that you want to mention?
Like I said, I want to give a shout out to the Celtics for taking a game off the Cavs. I don't know. I to be frank, I stopped watching halfway through that game because I was like, oh, this is going to be, they had just gotten blown out. So then, that was kind of just in the background. And then I looked again and they were, neck and neck. So I turned in and I was like, man, this is amazing. Credit to them, man.
Definitely put up a solid performance. Better than I thought they would. I thought they would get crushed, especially with Isaiah Thomas hurt, going through his whole family ordeal and then the hip pointer. But they put up a solid showing. So I was impressed. Even taking a game off the Cavs was better than I expected.
Yeah, no. It just shows such a wide gap though. Even the 1 seed, home court advantage, and they can only pick up one game. I just don't see, even with the number 1 pick, I don't see them shrinking the gap that much over the next few years. It's hard, unless maybe they get Fultz and Gordon Hayward. But even then, they're going to win 2 games next year off the Cavs. I don't know.
I hope they draft Lonzo Ball. Even though we refuse to work out with the Celtics, I hope they draft him the number 1 pick anyway. Out of spite.
Yeah. What do you think, Ray? Any thoughts?
Nah, no one cares about the Eastern Conference anyway. It's basically LeBron's conference for the last 7 years.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so moving on. Kenny, any thoughts?
I think the most frustrating aspect of the playoffs for me was Pachulia killing Kawhi Leonard, ruining that series for me. Going into that series, I didn't even care if the Spurs or the Warriors won. I I don't really have a preference for either of these teams. I assumed Warriors were favored, but I was hoping we'd at least get a great series. Like, Kawhi would put up a hell of a fight in a series like that, and just to watch him get hurt in such a awful manner, I believe that was intended by Pachulia. So it's especially frustrating for me. I just feel like that was the highlight of the playoffs for me, and it was a terrible highlight.
Yeah, I think the overarching theme is like we just didn't see any parity in these playoffs, and it's just and with this huge gap between the conference finals and the finals, we're just sitting here thinking about like what makes the NBA fun, right? We had all this time to think about just the Cavs and Warriors, and it was so predictable from the beginning, and we're not seeing like any challenges at all. And it's it was kind of boring first 3 rounds, and now it's just we just have to sit and wait for this amazing final series that might not even come.
Do you feel like it was the same last year? I mean, this is the 3rd year in a row where we have a Warriors-Cavs final. So did you feel that way this past 2 years?
No, I didn't. I didn't feel that way. I think last year was exciting. Actually, past couple of years were exciting because I think the Warriors were at that cusp where, they were undeniably historically great, and they were really fun to watch. But in the back of your mind, you were still like, oh, LeBron and some other guys. He has Kevin Love healthy now. He has a little bit better of a supporting cast. I think they can give them kind of a challenge, right? This year, I think Kevin Durant kind of fucks up the whole thing. Golden State is like last year when Steph Curry would go to the bench. Yeah, you get Draymond. Yeah, you get Klay Thompson. Klay would kind of carry the load, but you didn't really have a superstar on the court. Now, if Steph Curry has to go to the bench with 3 fouls in the first quarter, it's okay because they got Kevin fucking Durant. That kind of just diminishes the excitement for me. I mean, I still think it's going to be a good finals, but last year I definitely had more excitement going into it.
Yeah, with that, let's just move right into our thoughts on the finals. I guess we'll save our predictions for a little later on, but so obviously the Warriors are heavily favored, and I think the odds are actually pretty good for them to get the series in 4 or 5 games. Do any of you see light at the tunnel for Cleveland?
I think the silence means no. No one believes in LeBron.
Okay, so moving on.
No, I kind of hope the Cavs win. I definitely agree they're not favored. Like LeBron it's kind of David versus Goliath, and I think in most of LeBron's finals he was the underdog, as he is very strongly here. But I want to see the Cavs win, and I think there's a chance.
Mike, what do you think? Is this silver?
I think Cleveland is definitely good enough and competitive enough that they can take minimum 1 game. Maybe 2, maybe 3 games, but I don't think I just don't think they can deal with Golden State and the arsenal of top end talent, right? I think one of the things that the more I watch basketball, the more I'm convinced is when you have superstars can single-handedly win a game for you, whereas second level stars they don't necessarily have that ability. All right.
Wait, who are you referring to as a second level star here?
What do you say?
Who are you referring to as a second level star here?
So Kyrie, Kevin Love, Klay, Draymond, those guys are all second level stars where, when they go off, they can win you a game, right? But it's much rarer than superstars and just the night in, night out level of performance that you kind of expect for them. Golden State's coasted through this playoffs, and to be honest, they haven't really tried. I think that's pretty fair to say. You know, the margin of victory is huge, and they've had a meaningful number of bench minutes. And if you look at their regular season against Cleveland, they split the series. One game they completely blew out the Cavs, and the other, I think that was a Christmas game. That took Kyrie Irving going fucking crazy. Like I said, I think Cleveland definitely has the talent to pull off one, probably two games, but I don't think you can deal with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant just bringing it in a dedicated series.
So how about let's look at Cavs versus last year. Do you think this team is at least stronger than what they had last year? I mean, they gained a few pieces. They got like Deron Williams. They lost the Australian guy that no one cares about anymore.
Yeah, I think I think they're better. I think the reason why they have a chance is because in the series, and they can surround LeBron with 4 elite shooters and 20 to 25 threes a game, which is ridiculous. But if they do, they're going to keep up with the Warriors. And so, you know, and of course, the thing with the Cavs is like you have, in order to see, like visualize them having a chance in the series, you kind of have to caveat that the Warriors have to play shitty too. Like Clay has to keep struggling. Draymond has to miss his threes that they're gonna, concede to him. And maybe like Steph gets in foul trouble because he's, aggressive with his hands. And then you can like sort of carve out a path for LeBron doing his thing and carrying the team again. But that's a lot of things that have to go well. And they went well last year when Harrison Barnes went like 5 for 80 in the last 3 games. But this year it's just Kevin Durant shooting, and he's not going to miss those. So, it's going to be tough. But, if we all find out like in 3 weeks, if we were told that the Cavs are going to win in 7, we'll all be surprised, but we'll think, that's probably the path. That's probably what happened. LeBron just went, supernova again.
So it has to be LeBron. It's not going to be J.R. Smith.
It could be J.R. Smith. Who knows?
I think J.R. is one of the second level stars that Mike was talking about.
Definitely, for sure.
You guys just I think if Cleveland wants to win, first off, they have to hit all their threes, right? There's no getting around that. They're the most 3-point heavy team in the league, other than, I guess, the Rockets. Their defense is pretty pedestrian, so they need to simply outscore the other team because their defense is not going to get it done. Even in the playoffs where they kind of cranked it up. I think it really comes down to not LeBron's ability to dribble penetrate, because LeBron is going to have tough matchups against Draymond and Kevin Durant, who is somehow still an underrated defender. Throw Iguodala in that mix too. Livingston can play stints. Clay can play some minutes against LeBron defensively. But I think the thing is no one really matches up well against Kyrie or, J.R. Smith in terms of the off the dribble bounce. You really just have Curry. You have, Iguodala can play spot minutes. Clay is a little big, so he has the size, but he doesn't have the speed. I think if Cleveland wins, it's going to be because Kyrie goes off.
That's a good point. I was actually thinking the same thing in terms of how the players match up. And I think Kyrie gets the easiest draw in terms of offense. Because I'm guessing they put someone like Shumpert on Curry. And the whole point of Shumpert is being long and just messing with guards. Like that's his skill set. And he can give Curry a hard time.
Yeah. So I think we're all trying to find those little windows for the Cavs to like take advantage. So let's just get to our actual predictions. If we were betting men and we had $1,000 to bet or whatever, which team and how many games are we picking? Let's start with Ray.
If we pick a team like Cavs when they're so heavily like dominated in this matchup, do we get odds at least?
All right. Let's forget the odds. Just what you think.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Warriors in Warriors in 4.
Sweep.
Going for the sweep.
Nice.
A few things that you guys haven't mentioned, but I think Curry being injured last year in the finals was a big difference. He hurt his knee, and he was never quite the same. He lost some of the explosiveness, and you guys are just disrespecting the 2-time MVP by saying Kyrie's better.
I didn't say Kyrie is better. I said Kyrie has the ability to score against Curry, which he has demonstrated.
I think he just has an easier matchup in terms of scoring. Like, it's a lot easier to score, I think, against Curry and Klay Thompson than for Curry with Shumpert on him.
I think you guys overrate Iman Shumpert's ability to play basketball at a high level. But we'll see. We'll see.
Mike.
I'm going to say Warriors in 6.
Nice.
It's nice.
That's it?
I mean, that's my prediction for the series. I would say, give me a minute. I'll think about some other interesting predictions.
All right, Kenny.
I'm gonna go Cavs in 7. I trust.
Yeah.
I believe.
I think we had a bracket challenge within the group, and Kenny's just sticking to his original pick of Cavs in 7. But even after seeing all the things in the playoffs, you're sticking with it?
I don't learn my lesson.
Okay, fair. Well, I'll stick to mine too. I'll say Warriors in 5. But it's a question that I heard today that is kind of interesting. Would you guys be more surprised by Warriors? I guess is it, to phrase this right, how would you guys be more shocked by Warriors in 4 and LeBron gets killed, or would you be more shocked by Cavs in 7?
I would be more surprised by the former. I think the Cavs are too good to get swept. LeBron James is still the MVP in terms of actual talent. I think Kyrie's demonstrated that he plays well against Steph Curry, and Kevin Love is, okay.
Has LeBron ever been swept? Has that ever happened?
Spurs in 07 when he was probably not supposed to make the finals with that team, but he did.
Oh, right. That team was garbage. He completely.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, like I was thinking about with the Warriors being so heavily favored. Like, when's the last time a LeBron team like got crushed in the playoffs?
When he had like Mo Williams and Varejao.
No, they were good then. Those teams.
There was that.
Those were like 50, 55, 61 teams.
I wouldn't say those were good players, though. That was LeBron. LeBron carrying mediocre teams.
I think the Spurs killed them on the 2014 season when the Spurs came back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But even then, didn't he take a game in 2014?
Yeah.
I mean, you could take a game, but still get crushed.
Yeah, that's true. Well, either way, still, I don't think LeBron's going to get swept. I feel like he's still too good of a player and too smart of a player to let that happen.
Yeah, I agree. So let's say that LeBron pulls out the miracle and wins. So where do you guys see the MJ discussion going. I know everyone talks about it, but I guess we're obligated to mention it as well. Is he the GOAT if he wins?
I think regardless of whether he wins or not, I think LeBron has cemented himself top 5, undoubtedly, and arguably top 3. I say top 5 because I think that depends on how much weight you give to 60s era basketball. You know, if you count Wilt and Bill Russell, you know, it's kind of hard to put those two in context. Otherwise, I think he's in the conversation with Jordan and Kareem. And then I think it's really a question on how much you weigh peak dominance versus longevity. You know, obviously, if you like longevity, you like Kareem. I don't know. I feel like Jordan still has it, you know, that it factor over LeBron. I don't think it's a wide gap though.
I think it's kind of hard to compare, but I agree. It's when you look at Jordan, his whole skill set, it was all about scoring. That was just his thing. He was an absolutely amazing scorer. But you look at LeBron, it's a much more well-rounded game. Like if you look at totals, I think playoff totals all time, he's ranked extremely high in almost every single category. Whereas for Jordan, it was really just shooting. It was just scoring. So it's kind of different, but I think if LeBron wins this finals, it's definitely a contest between him and Jordan. I mean, there's a lot of older people. For them, Jordan's just been cemented as the greatest of all time. Like, it's not even a contest. It doesn't matter what anyone else does. It's always going to be Jordan for them. But I think it's really a debate. And I think
Right.
LeBron is just about there.
Right?
I think regardless, like you said, Johnny, or whoever said it, LeBron's already top 3 all time for me, between, you know, right after Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And in terms of peak and longevity, I feel like LeBron's peaked or been just as good for about 7-8 years now. He's you know, he's been the same player really since he came into the league, and he has shown no signs of decline. In terms of compared to Jordan, I think it depends on the era. And I mean, today, if you were to throw all the players into a draft, I mean, you can make a state like an argument for picking LeBron James as your first overall pick over Jordan.
Yeah, I agree. I think LeBron's number 2 for me, and if he wins, then it's really close. It depends what you value. I think the old guys are going to be like, "Oh, Jordan was 6-0, never lost the finals," and then
But his teams were dominant. Like they were
the
so
LeBron
dominant.
fans will, yeah, and the LeBron fans will say like, LeBron's made 7 straight finals, and you know it shouldn't be a knock on him that Jordan's teams have lost earlier in the earlier rounds and never made it to the finals. So I think it'll just be a debate, and that just tells you how great LeBron was. And
Yeah, I do want to say that whole Jordan has never lost a finals thing is such a stupid argument, right? Like, if he loses to the Pistons in the first round, or he loses to the Celtics, why is that better than if he had made the finals and lost there, right? That doesn't make any sense at all.
exactly.
I mean, I think I would probably still say Jordan. I think I would say that Jordan's peak, I would say, was arguably a little bit better than LeBron's. You know, if you look at like the peak 3-year period, but I don't think it's significant. I don't think you really go wrong with either of them. And I think the thing that complicates things is, you know, Jordan came into the league and he was already one of the, you know, 5 best players when he came in as a rookie, but he came in as a 21-year-old. Like, he came in as a junior, right? Or after his junior season. LeBron came in as a 18-year-old. So LeBron has him in terms of longevity. Wasn't as good the first couple of years, but at this point, I think LeBron has the longevity edge.
Yeah, for sure.
Toss up.
What about in baseball? Do you think LeBron is a
Yep.
better baseball player?
Probably. Maybe. I don't know. I think maybe he'll retire and move to baseball, and we'll find out. But that. Anyway, no one wants to hear about LeBron in baseball, so we'll move on. Our next segment is Happy Trails. I don't think I can say half of these. Happy Trails to ESPN staff. So many people gone. Mark Stein, John Clayton, and David Thorpe. Anyone else?
Just about
Have any
everyone
names?
was good. Everyone but Zach Lowe.
Yeah. So a bunch
what
of
am I
guys.
supposed to read now? Where am I supposed to get my news?
Bill Simmons.
Oh yeah, moving to somewhere else, Vox or some shit.
What the fuck is
Happy
Fox?
Trails to.
Don't forget Chad Ford.
Oh yeah,
What is,
Chad
what is
Ford.
Fox and Chad Ford?
He got all the NBA drafts correct.
It's so weird. A lot of guys are such defenders of Chad Ford, but he's like such an idiot. I think.
Clearly,
Anyway,
you are a defender of Chad Ford as well.
yeah, I love.
Wait, they got rid of
No.
Jason Stark. Wow.
Yeah, Jason Stark too. Oh well. So happy trails to them. Happy trails to Kathy Griffin. Anyone want to explain this one with the?
She just
Donald
got
Trump thing.
fired for some crazy shit with like playing with Trump's head or something in a doll.
Okay, so happy trails to her.
So she's not hosting the leader show anymore, as she's done year after year for like the past decade.
Yep. We haven't podcasted in so long. We haven't even talked about Aaron Hernandez. Happy trails to him. Any thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think this really is a case of happy trails.
Very good.
Yo, he might be gay
next-
though. Can we talk about that? Is Aaron Hernandez gay?
I heard.
You heard that it's the truth or that it's a rumor?
I don't know. I don't care. I will be happy as soon as Aaron Hernandez fades from public memory.
Wow, it's harsh.
Is it really?
Damn, Mike.
No.
What if it wasn't his fault? What if it was CTE?
That's
What
true.
if he was actually a really good kid and then football just ruined him? Kind of like Joseph Randall.
What if the other guy snitched and he deserved it?
Right.
Okay, moving on. Happy trails to Isaiah Thomas's sister.
I think at this point it's
Passed away.
happy trails, right?
Yeah, we have to
I think it's
rename this
Trump's
segment.
Condolences.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
condolences to Isaiah Thomas. His sister passed away. And happy trails. I mean, condolences to Manchester terrorism victims.
I think that's the point where we change it to condolences. Just
Yeah.
maybe.
Condolences to the last few. Next, we have our favorite segment, overrated, underrated, or whatever, neutral. We'll start with Bryce Harper and his fight. Any thoughts? Ray.
Underrated. We finally get a baseball fight where people actually throw punches and connects. That was great.
Mike?
Give me a minute. I gotta watch this fight.
Kenny, did you watch it?
I don't even know who Bryce Harper is. I don't know shit about
Oh,
baseball.
shit.
I'm going to say
He
properly
plays-
rated.
He plays for your home team.
Shit. Okay.
When you say home team, are you referring to the Yankees or the Nationals?
Nationals. God.
Oh
Just
my
in
God,
case,
Johnny.
Consider
Oh my
me
God, Johnny.
a
Who
Washington.
are we podcasting with?
All right,
Ray?
I just watched this. This is such an overrated fight. Only in baseball is this considered an exciting fight.
All right, I haven't watched it. How do you compare it to Malice in the Palace?
It's okay. So here's what happened. Harper doesn't get hit by a pitch. He takes his helmet, he throws it off to the side.
Wait, Harper definitely gets hit by a pitch.
No, he gets brushed, right?
No, he
No,
gets
he
hit.
square in the hip.
All right, so he gets hit. Whatever, it doesn't look that hard.
Are you watching this on like low definition or something?
No, he throws his helmet and then he punches the guy. He gets like one decent punch in. Not all that exciting. There was the best baseball fight I saw. The guy kicks the catcher and then he charges the mound with a bat. That is an exciting fight. I think you guys know which fight I'm talking about.
I agree with Ray. This was a good baseball fight. We rarely get stuff like this.
This
And
is still
you guys
nothing
are crazy.
compared to Malice in the Palace.
Thanks, Johnny, for being the only other person that watches baseball here.
So you guys need to.
No, all right. I linked you guys a video of a much better fight.
Nah, I watch real sports like Dota.
Next, we'll move on to. All right, overrated, underrated. Mr.
Wait, Johnny. Wait,
LeVar
Johnny.
Ball.
Aaron Judge, overrated, underrated.
I'll say for now he's properly rated. We can't go around the room because they don't know who Aaron Judge is.
Is he related to Mike Judge?
Oh man.
Anyway, LeVar Ball's big baller brand. Kenny.
I'm gonna say underrated. This is a baller ass marketing move. To make his shoes $500, that's such a baller ass move to generate publicity. And like I'm honestly a little impressed that he managed to take this kind of a joke of a brand and garner so much publicity, so much infamy in both himself and his son. Like I think it's a pretty baller move, as ridiculous as the guy is.
Mike. Mr. Mike.
I'm with Kenny, man. This is LeVar Ball has turned his 15 minutes of fame into like a solid hour of fame. I'm kind of rooting for Lonzo at this point. He seems like a pretty cool kid. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm all aboard.
Did you see Lonzo Ball's comments about his father? Where he's like, yeah, I'm fully aware my dad says ridiculous stuff, but I still love him because he's my dad.
That's sweet.
That's pretty funny.
That's
And it's sweet and it's pretty funny. I like the kid.
Ray.
I'm with the team here. It's underrated. Any publicity is good publicity, and he's stayed in the mainstream media for half a year now.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. We're all in favor of Ball.
Holy shit. I didn't see that
This
coming.
is unbelievable. I think that's a knock on our character, to be honest.
All right, so Ray, when we all strike it big, that means you're gonna buy us those shoes, right?
I'll buy you those flip flops. I do like that shirt. Stay in your lane or swim in
Yeah.
your lane.
It's amazing.
I'll take the flip-flops. I'll be a big baller.
Next up, we have Mr. Colin Kaepernick back in the news because he can't find a job. Is his football playing overrated, underrated? What do you guys think?
I'm kind of amazed we're still talking about him. I thought it was just understood he's being blackballed. But, that's life.
I mean, he's definitely being blackballed, but that's the story. Because let's face it, there are 96 employed QBs in the NFL. Are there 96 QBs that are really better than Kaepernick? I don't think so. I think he's somewhere in the middle there. I think he's definitely worthwhile, at least as a backup. And just because of his protests, he can't find a job. It's like the NFL saying that him protesting is worse than wife beating. It's worse than domestic abuse. It's worse than drug use. And that's bullshit.
I mean, yeah, from a moral standpoint, it is pretty bullshit. To clarify, I don't think he's actually being blackballed. I think no owner wants to touch him because it would be bad for their market share. And I think NFL fans have proven they don't really care that much about domestic violence or all of the stuff about concussions. I mean, end of the day, they'll probably still they'll complain, but they'll still watch. But you get a lot of people who are very patriotic who if you sign Kaepernick, you just get a whole bunch of headache, and he doesn't have the talent to warrant that amount of headache that he causes. So I guess you would call it market factors.
I mean, I agree with you. That's exactly why. I just still feel like that's depressing to hear. Our world is in a sad state.
Yeah, I think.
I'm trying to figure
Yeah,
out
I think he's definitely.
how good of a QB do you think he would need to be before teams said fuck it and they signed him anyways? Like, is that Alex Smith level of competency?
I mean, where do we all think he is now? How good of a QB is he now? Because he's had some bad years the last few years. But that's also because the whole 49ers team just fell into disarray. I wouldn't say that's entirely his fault. So I think it's a valid question still. Like, if we were to pick a comparable QB in terms of his skill now, who would you say?
I think he's similar to Jay Cutler in terms of overall talent. We'll lose you some games, and every now and then we'll win you a game, but overall you're not getting anything spectacular, and he loses you way more games than he wins you. That would be
Mike Lou with the very rare cross-racial comp. That's good on you, Mike.
Dude, man, I'm blind to race.
Anyway, I think he's definitely worth a shot. Garbage out in the league, especially in the backups, on like the backup rosters, second string and third string QBs. He's definitely worth a shot.
Like, that's how I feel. I think in terms of skill set, I'd put him somewhere around maybe Mariota, Alex Smith. In terms of value. Maybe not Alex Smith. I prefer. No, Alex Smith is a lot better, actually. I think
you're very.
I'll put him around Mariota.
Kaepernick.
I think you're very low on Mariota.
Yeah, Mariota is good, man.
Maybe I just don't think that highly of him.
No, I think Cap's worth a shot. We saw his peak is really good, and that wasn't really that long ago. It was like 3 years ago.
The problem I see is, from a backup QB, I want someone who's able to run a second team offense, who holds a clipboard, who is intelligent, and if the
national anthem.
If the starting QB gets injured, to be able to step in and run the same plays, and as a running quarterback, you really have to tailor your game plan to Kaepernick. So a fit, where Seattle came into play made sense, but it looks like he's not going there. So, well, we'll see.
What about like backing up someone like Tyrod?
Does Tyrod have a job?
I thought he was still going to be in Buffalo. Maybe I'm mistaken.
I think he is, yeah. I don't know, but yeah, no, I see Ray's point. It's like different style, so you don't want to bring him in if you have like a pocket passer as your main QB starter. But yeah, but to counter that, like just talent wise, he's worth on just in case your starter gets injured after with him on your roster. Anyway, we'll move on.
Well, I want to make one more point. Even Michael Vick got signed as a backup by the Steelers, and he wasn't that good. It's a very similar story. Yeah, he was pretty awful, honestly. But I think it's a similar story.
I don't think dogfighting. I mean, okay, just bad, but so Buffalo does have a few QBs on the roster behind Tyrod. They have TJ Yates, won a playoff game before, and Cardell Jones won a national championship.
Oh, nice. Cardell Jones. Cool. To our final topic, overrated, underrated. This Tiger Woods story and his medication. We'll start with Kenny. Go ahead.
I still don't entirely know what happened. All I know is that he took a breathalyzer, I think, and he blew a 0.00, indicating that he wasn't drinking, but he was passed out from some kind of cocktail of medicines. Well, is that what happened? I don't even know the full story.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I don't.
Over to Ray. We'll get back to you, Kenny.
So I actually don't know the whole story. So Johnny, so he took medication, turned on his car, and he fell asleep.
I think the cops caught him passed out at the wheel.
Okay. Was it a suicide attempt or?
Yeah.
He had some car damage. He had some damage to the car. Like I think the tires were flat, and it looked like his car had gotten rammed or something like that. I don't know.
Just his wife with a golf club.
Yo, I think Tiger Woods' story is worse than Michael Floyd's story. Michael Floyd didn't have any car damage.
Anyway, back to Tiger Woods. So I guess we don't really, none of us really know all the details. No one does. But how about just talking about his fall from grace? Should we just stop talking about Tiger Woods in the media? Like, who gives a shit? Or is it?
I think.
something else?
I mean, yeah, there are pictures on TMZ. His tires are flat. And, yeah. I mean, he's well past his prime. He hasn't been relevant in sports for a couple years now. Probably longer than that. Clearly, he has a whole bunch of issues. I think we should just give him some space and let him, live his life or recover.
Would you say this is the biggest fall from grace in terms of sports?
You remember Aaron Hernandez who killed a guy?
Well, that was a larger fall, I think, but he wasn't as high up. He didn't start with
True.
Tiger Woods was the top of the top. Aaron Hernandez wasn't even the top tight end on his team.
That's true.
It would be like if Michael Jordan just played baseball and retired.
If he got caught gambling on basketball games and was forced to take a 2-year sabbatical.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anyone who's had that peak and then dropped so low unless like they died.
Michael Vick dropped from he signed a $100 million contract and he
That's
went
true.
to jail.
Yeah. There's Michael Vick. Ray Rice was okay.
Adrian Peterson.
Not a high peak, but OJ Simpson.
Oh, that's probably the best example.
He was already retired, though.
Michael Schumacher.
What
Yeah.
happened to him?
Never mind.
Mel Gibson.
All right, we're running out of ideas.
Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so please join us next week. Hopefully we don't have a 12-week gap to talk about, finally, some X's and O's and how the Cavs and Warriors series is going. With Ray, Mike, Kenny, and I. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks.
See ya.